IT's here.
Somebody came in and spoke there, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't
It was
you.
Greg. It was Greg.
Oh.
Right, again, we'll take note. So you guys are.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the May 16th meeting of the Riley County Commissioners. Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any Zoom public comments?
Good morning, Commissioners. Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Manager. I am here today to very happily present our new county appraiser, Anna Burson. Today is her first day, so she's getting thrown in and meeting everybody, and we, trying to remember everybody's names. So she has been able to just go up to the appraiser's office so far this morning, but we'll be making some tours after a little while.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome
Glad to
aboard.
have you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Any other public comments? Commissions?
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's good to be here. Okay, we'll go back to last Monday, May 9th. Attended the special law board meeting in the afternoon at the City Commission chambers. Meeting consisted of an executive session we finally developed not finally, but working towards developing the process of hiring a new director. It's almost complete, and a public announcement will be made today at the May 16th meeting. So we'll look forward to introducing the public to everything that's being done. Wednesday, I attended the change of command ceremony at Fort Riley. It was a formal goodbye to Major General D.A. Sims and welcome to Major John Meyer III. Everyone's going to miss Major General Sims. He was a really good commander. Remarks were made by Lieutenant General Robert White, Commanding General at Fort Hood. Very impressive ceremony. Started with firing of one of the 1800 year cannon. They did a lot of passing reviews and band played, and towards the end they did a cavalry charge, which was really cool. With the swords and all the cannons and everything is amazing. So I really am glad that I went and represented the county there. Later that afternoon, I went to the church and did some pre-cooking and preparation for the meal on Thursday evening and practiced with the bell choir. So it was pretty full. Thursday and Friday, I attended the Flint Hills Leadership Retreat sponsored by the Manhattan Area Chamber of Commerce. It was a really full 2 days focusing on economic development in Manhattan Junction City and Wamego. It was very well attended by all areas and organizations. I think that all the participants went away on Friday with real positive ideas on regional development. We can talk about some more. Friday, I also had a final pre-op appointment with Dr. Chase on my upcoming surgery, which is a week from tomorrow. I got my final instructions and details, and I spent the weekend trying to do a lot of things, including fighting with a fence that I put up around my garden. So, good week. So, look forward to the rest of this week.
Phew, boy, it's been a week. Monday after we last met, I met with Manhattan Area Technical College President James Gannott and Harry Watts on their updated plans for the campus. To date, their vision and expansion will cover 2 or even phases, possibly at close to $100 million total. It'll add 221,560 square feet and potentially add as much, if not more than $50 million plus to the annual economic impact, while keeping and employing nearly 80% of the graduates here within the region. Some of the program expansions that were discussed will be including paramedicine. David should be happy about that. Let's see, putting a high level on biotechnicians and bioscience, some other healthcare needs, including expansion of nursing, MLT, and bringing back EMS and EMT.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there. And they also want to include something new called fire safety technology. And I didn't get into specifics on that, but it does sound very, very interesting. So, and while all the other current programs available will also get reviews and updates along with that, as well as, this is the amazing part to me, they're staying on site. This will be 100% on site from the area there on Seco Park. They'll start with expansion of some pre-engineered buildings kind of along that south and southeast side over there. And then the 3-story building, I think we've already seen. That's a major part of the expansion. The last half of that would just be expanding and renewing the current campus. So the current buildings that are on campus. So you can check this plan out at manhattantech.edu/future for more details. It's got a pretty comprehensive plan on there. A lot of money, but I think it's possible. Just do. So also Monday, I too attended the special meeting of the Riley County Law Board. I won't go into any more specifics on that. You pretty well covered it. Same thing's covered in my notes. Tuesday morning, I had a Microsoft Teams call with Jared Tremblay from the MPO, Matt Messina, and Christy Nichols from KDOT to discuss some important housekeeping items from within the MPO. As you know, Stephanie Peterson transitioned out of her position into the city. Currently leaves us kind of without a director or a planner overall, even though Jared's a pretty good project manager. Still need to have somebody that could kind of admin some things. Currently, we don't have anybody who's applied yet. So maybe a challenge, and we may be there for a while. So this is just to kind of keep up with everything, put some things together for Wednesday afternoon's policy board meeting. Wednesday afternoon, I also had my national membership call with NACO's Community Economic and Workforce Development Committee. Our guest speaker for the call was John Cardinal, who is the Director of Economic Development, Office of the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer. He gave us a pretty in-depth overall view of the America Competes Act and regional technology hubs provisions that are contained both within that plan and some other things too. Presentation provided some key elements on all fronts, including technology and manufacturing of SIM cards, all the other electronic components we seem to be missing, establishing fixes in the United States supply chain, and training and development of future workforces locally to fit all of our current challenges that we have across the country. Afterwards, Michael Matthews, our legislative director for the committee, gave us an update from Capitol Hill and progress on the fiscal year 2023, and some updates from NACO, including July's annual conference and expose that will be held in Adams County, Colorado. Denver. They always do it by county, but it's Denver this year. So just to throw that out there. And that was pretty much it for that. A lot of good questions on that, as you can obviously imagine. One of mine obviously was, how does all this workforce and training fit into MATC? So trying to make those connections. Lots going on that front. So Wednesday evening, I attended the pre-leadership retreat dinner with the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce at the Bluemont Hotel. Certainly nice to have a chance to get catch up with everybody and some local leaders and people from the chamber once again. And then Thursday and Friday, I too attended the 2022 Flint Hills Leadership Retreat. Both days were packed with discussions, presentations from local officials and leaders around the region, including economic development teams from Pot and Gary County, Manhattan Area Chamber, Wamego Area Chamber of Commerce, K-State Department of Commerce, the Flint Hills NPO, Fort Riley, and Fly MHK. And honestly, we had several key networking sessions and discussions from the last retreat. We also heard several key attraction and venues from around the area, including Acorns Resort over in the Milford area over there. I've heard about them, but didn't see anything about them. I thought that was pretty cool. Riverfront Development, Plaza of the Flint Hills. I think we all see that when we're going east, that's going up pretty quick. The Art and Light Museum, getting a little bit more in-depth conversation on it. And the K-State Foundation and its plans in the region to include a agricultural event arena and a livestock research competition complex. certainly a solid days, 2 solid days of information and discussion. And Thursday night, I attended the spring roundup out at the Lazy T Ranch in Zendale. There was others that I knew that joined me. Enjoyed a pretty good barbecue dinner and some pretty neat evening entertainment as well. So appreciate Ron and Chris Wilson inviting me out to enjoy that, and got a pretty good joke. Won't tell it this morning, but has to do with Custer and his scouts and things they don't like to backtrack to. And we'll just leave it at that.
John enjoyed himself very
Yeah.
much. The poetry was especially entertaining.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Just lastly, happy to get some more rain and a couple waves yesterday. Could have maybe done without the hail. And looks like K-State baseball. We participated in the Big 12 tournament this year after all. So that's always good. So and with that, that's all I've got.
All right. Well, I'll show you back up a week here. Last Tuesday, I was on K-Man in Focus. I think it went well. It's always good to get information out about the county. I mentioned some of the new hires, the budget finance, the clinic supervisor, the health department, the appraiser, and then museum director that we're working on. And then just discuss in general items that we've been working on here. And after in Focus, I attended Flint Hills Veterans Coalition. They did discuss their scholarship program a little bit, and then also about the starting work on the Veterans Day Parade. There were a few things from last year. I mean, they've been doing it for years, but every year there's a whole thing. Well, we need to tweak this. We need to change this up a little bit, to make it a little smoother. Tuesday evening, attended Manhattan High spring concert because I have a grandson playing saxophone in there. It was good. Those bands, concert bands, are really good. Instructors did a great job there, I think. And Wednesday evening, I also attended the leadership, pre-leadership dinner, and met some new people that I had before, and I've talked to them. That was good. And then Thursday and Friday was Flint Hills Leadership Retreat, as I mentioned. A lot of good speakers, a lot of new information about the area, and I thought it was a lot better than last year's. I mean, I've got a whole 2 to compare, but I thought it was a really good one. And I mentioned that to Jason afterwards. I thought they had done a really good job this time.
And the numbers were up.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah. I just was impressed. Got a lot of information out of this one. Last one seemed to be just talk. This one seemed to be more
networking.
more knowledge of gain.
Ready for business?
Ready for you to start.
Okay, first thing, need a motion to approve Emergency Medical Services Week 2022 proclamation.
Make a motion to approve the EMS Week 2022 proclamation.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the EMS Week proclamation. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All 3 sign, please.
I want to sign here notes today.
There are.
That's what you get for skipping a day.
It catches up. You don't avoid it, that's for sure. Next, Commissioner, need a motion to approve change order number 1 with King Construction for West 32nd Avenue Bridge Replacement Project, the amount of $14,900.
What is PDA?
That would be me. Okay.
Oh, they sent me, oh yeah, they threw me right in the fire.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm Jason Anderson. I'm one of your engineer techs out at Public Works. I'm inspecting that project. PDA is pile driving analysis. So
Okay.
what that does is when we drive a bridge test pile, they hook up basically sound frequency to that pile, and it gives us a better understanding of the geology underneath so we can set those piles to bearing. And what we found during that PDA is that during the engineering process, they did not accommodate for enough length in that pile, which is the reason for the additional pile. So when that PDA came back, we knew we needed to be so many more feet to bearing so that bridge will be solid.
Oh,
And that's what that
okay.
is for.
That's good information. Thank you.
Feel free to come back anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather spend $14,000 on that than the whole new bridge later.
It's a pretty neat process to see them drive those
Yeah.
piles. I watched it when they built that bridge
Yeah,
out there in
King.
our place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kings have a diesel hammer. If you guys have never seen that, I think we've already driven on the pile at surgery last week, so I'm not sure if they finished my abutment pile. But that diesel hammer comes up and they basically pull a release and then it fires almost like a compression cylinder. And then every time it hits, it refires the diesel piped into it and it blows it back up there. It's interesting if you guys ever get on.
That
site
would
with
be
us.
interesting to see.
And Commissioners, you don't get to see some of the employees sometime, but Jason's been with us a long time. How long have you been with us, Jason?
Then I'm in my 11th year.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
I think I've seen you out there walking around a time or two, but never had a chance to say hey, so.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. I just assume everybody's kind of working and they're in their zone and I just
Well,
hate to
that's
interrupt,
fine.
so yeah. Okay.
As long as I'm still walking, I'm doing all right.
All right, understandable.
That's
Okay.
all.
Thanks for coming in, Jason. Appreciate it.
Jason.
Get a
Okay.
motion, Commissioners?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll make a motion
Go
to
ahead.
approve the West 32nd Avenue Bridge Replacement Project change order number 1.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 32nd Avenue Bridge change order number 1. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chairman, sign please.
Really interesting. Would be fun to see sometime.
No, it is. It's cool. It's impressive. I mean, they're driving a huge I-beam. And it's impressive.
I've seen one on YouTube not too long ago. They were doing that with fence posts for, barns and stuff. Not quite the same thing, but
Right.
sounds like it's probably pretty loud too. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
It is, for sure. Next, Commissioners, need a motion for portable communication device allowance form for Albert Lee, Public Works.
Make a motion to approve the portable communication device allowance form for Mr. Lee in Public Works.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the portable communication allowance form for Mr. Lee. All in favor?
Aye.
Chairman, sign please.
Half the month's gone already.
Good, thank you. Next, Commissioners, I have Raleigh County Personnel Action Form, Darren Nelson, step change, shop supervisor in the Public Works Department. Douglas Barley, traffic control supervisor, Public Works Department, Operations and Fleet Department, separation of service. And Jeanette Friel, medical clerk in the Health Department, separation of service. All 3 signed, please. The Commissioners have any changes in the minutes?
I do not. Anybody else?
Ready for a motion on the board is.
I would make a motion that we approve the minutes as written from the May 9th, 2002 meeting of the Raleigh County Commission.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of May 9th meeting. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Tentative agendas with Commissioners.
I did have a question on that. Yeah. Thursday, Good Morning Manhattan, I guess breakfast as usual.
Sounds good. We can arrange that.
Okay.
It'll be Cindy K, Commissioners, as you know, don't remember, but I have a daughter getting married on Saturday, and I've been told I shall be present at the end of this week to help out.
Why, what could there be to do?
Yeah, there's nothing.
You already paid for it. What else do you need to do?
Exactly. I thought I was just finance.
I would suggest that you say that.
Where do I go?
Yeah,
Let
that's
us know
what
how
I'll be doing, just taking direction.
We'll carry this over here.
And she does not mind giving me direction.
So you're gonna be at our church, my church, right?
Lutheran?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my wife and I got married, and that's where our twin daughters are destined to get married, they said, so.
Great.
I'm surprised that they were dead set on getting married at the same church that we got married at. So
That's neat.
one's this Saturday and one's September 17th.
Like the new pastor.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm sure my wife and daughter have met him, but yeah, I have not.
He's very energetic. He's
Really?
Younger, like.
It's always been a good church.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
On,
Lutheran on points.
Franklin.
Oh, okay.
Someone with a big, A-frame.
Uh-huh.
Is that the one across from the middle school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very pretty
Middle
inside.
school to me, I
It's a
guess.
great venue for weddings. A
Very
lot of
pretty
people want to
inside.
have weddings.
Yeah, that front facade there would be pretty cool to walk out and have throw stuff at you. Whatever they do these
Inside.
days,
Like
whatever.
stained glass.
Yeah. I just always imagine when I had classes, I looking at the roof over there going, man, that would be fun to do.
Oh, no. Well, we just got done changing the light bulbs. And
Ooh.
it was like, and they had to get up on scaffolding
Yeah.
clear up there. and
Yeah.
It was really crazy.
All of you are going to attend Good Morning Manhattan, correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
Any press conference items for next week, commissioners?
No.
Okay, next at 9 o'clock, you have Amanda Webb.
Commissioners, I'd like to ask for an executive session to be added to my administrative time.
See how many you already have, because.
Only one's good.
Okay. We're gonna put you on a 2-a-day limit.
Now, how long will that last? Because we do have, John and I have that 12 o'clock law enforcement.
It's
meeting.
not gonna be very long, because I'll get it done before the next item on the agenda. Probably a 10-minute one.
Okay,
Where do you want to add? Oh, you want to
Yeah,
add
we're-
it at 10:10 rather than?
Yes.
Okay.
good, that's what I was gonna ask too.
Yep.
So, okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we add an executive session to Clancy Holman's administrative services work session time.
All right, second that.
Been moving seconded to have executive session. The Clancy Holman's time, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, you want to?
Church just walk. Right in front of his wife.
Yeah, he comes along sometimes. Why not? I
This
don't know if they moved
was
or what.
years ago.
Yeah, I've seen him and it's been several months ago. So I
They
haven't
had
seen him
26
since.
Florida. He went down there.
Yeah. That's where we.
Recover or whatever to get for now.
Yeah. they're good, huh?
That's the story I've heard.
Mm. For nice house up there, 100,000. I'd sell it.
Wouldn't take long. Okay,
Yeah,
behind this, it's on for a couple of days. I can't believe.
I guess like it's, I was talking to a realtor friend of mine. So it was kind of slow down, especially if you got the region. Like my house.
My brother was talking about he knew. And just speaker just outside that his neighbor, oh no, as soon as he was working, they were at an addition on that house. They weren't sure back and then we're back in the house. Down was basically like, you know, the guy had bought for $250,000. Sold for $400,000.
Whoa. Mine
He-
hasn't
he said-
appreciated that much.
He said, the guy said,
My goodness.
I guess I don't have to worry about the appreciation on my house.
I guess. Yeah, you just can't find anything.
Well, that's what when they first, those things said, they think for several years. Well, it went, but I said 120, there wasn't, but they sold them. But an option was 15 lots instead of an option of 4 lots just to see.
Mm,
They were selling before you get it built, so you just get right down the road.
down the road, yeah. Huh.
So they're good ones.
Yeah, it's amazing. But you can't replace it. That's the thing.
Right.
That kind of.
Yeah, yeah, the others, yeah.
And the interest rates are, what mortgage rates are.
A friend of mine's out in Hayes is trying to get a new house. They ended up with a third child at the end of the year. So they need some extra space because their other one's 14 and the other one is 8 or 9. So they need some extra space, but they can get rid of theirs pretty quick. They got it in a spot, they can get it cleaned up and a few things, but just can't seem to find things.
Market's crazy.
I think it's gonna stay crazy for a while too there.
Well, interest rates are slow.
Is anybody noticing the things at the grocery store that just don't seem to be there anymore?
Yeah,
I mean, like at all.
favorite things.
Yeah.
Chicken breasts, nothing. I was just trying to find those red silo cups.
Oh,
Yeah.
None.
Yeah,
Um,
even bagged candy. I
Yeah,
know that seems strange, but I'm sent out by a COVID patient to get something that might generate some taste.
no
And
way.
things that are always there are just not there.
fruit juice was another one that
Right.
just empty.
Well, not only they're missing, but they're missing for long periods. of
Yeah.
time.
Long periods of
Oh, that's
time,
right.
yeah.
They're all of ours are fairly, a lot better than candy bar things. So, yeah, and there was these, the shelves of the Dollar General, there's a whole section that there's 3 or 4 boxes for weeks, you know, they're just not coming in for some reason. Oh, no, see Brandon Peoples' house in Rhino.
Yeah, I did see that.
Last week I was telling him like his neighborhood.
Yeah, there you go. That's funny.
Prices going up and interest rates are going up.
I knew the interest rates are going up. You can't,
Yeah.
you can't take like $6-8 trillion worth of money in 26 months and not expect that to happen.
I don't know
And
if
that's
that's the
gonna be there for a while.
Anybody could fulfill.
We appreciate someone doing it.
It's a team effort. It takes a village.
Thank you, Hillary.
I rescind my comment.
Wow.
I'm just trying to attribute the comment. It was popular.
Tough crowd today.
Wow. Remind me not to make you mad today. Holy cow.
What's he got in store for that executive?
I know, I'm a little worried now, I know. I may suddenly come down with a little bit of a.
And we're going
Good morning, Commissioners. Amanda Webb, Planning Director. I am here this morning for a public hearing for readdressing and renaming a short private road off of East Marlatt. I'll pull up the map here. There we go. As you can see, there's just two properties off that we're dealing with this time. Let's see. Basically, we are proposing Dodge Lane. All of the notification has gone out to the property owners. We followed the process that we have to, again, with the different letters, letting them know of the proposed change, why we're doing it, of course, et cetera. They were given their chance to, of course, file a petition for a different name. We did receive that, so we are going forward with the proposal of Dodge Lane. And you can see the two, can't quite fit it. There we go. The two proposed addresses for Dodge Lane for the two homes or the two properties on this road. So just to complete the formal process, again, we're here this morning for a public hearing before you folks for you to make a decision in terms of renaming and readdressing this road. This one's pretty straightforward, as you see. There's just the two. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. And we have a few folks from our NG 911 committee here who are also able to answer questions if you have any.
That's kind of a new location, isn't it, or no?
It's been on that list.
Yeah, it's been on our, I know it's one of the older ones on the list. This name had already been come up with, and
Okay.
we just kind of picked this one up since it's
There's a
pretty
lot of new
easy.
development over there in that area. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like let's get some low hanging fruit here, so.
But nobody's hollering too much.
I haven't heard from anybody on these two properties, so.
Well, one of them lives out on Military Road. So is that like a rental property? Military Trail St. George, one of the property owners.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Probably is.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, we would alert the property owners, so they're aware, so.
do we need to actually go through the motion of a
I
public
would,
hearing? Yeah.
Commissioner
Yes.
McKinley opened the public hearing, so now it's
Okay.
time for any public comment if there is any, and close the hearing.
We'll open the public hearing for the naming of a private road, Dodge Lane, the readdressing of affected properties. Any comments from anyone? I'm sure you got comments. I guess we'll close the public hearing then. We have to vote, or I just close it, right?
Yep, just close it.
Yes, I'll
And then
close the public
any
hearing
motion.
on a private road. Make a motion.
Okay, I'll go ahead then, since we closed the public hearing, to go ahead and make a motion to name a private road Dodge Lane and readdress any affecting properties in the area.
I would second that.
And moved and seconded for the renaming of private road Dodge Lane and readdressing. All in favor?
All three signed, please.
Thank you, Commissioners.
We have David Adams, 9:15. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Bless you. There's your allergies.
For the last little bit of cottonwoods to do what they're doing, that's usually what gets me.
Yeah, I don't even think that started yet.
Yeah, I know.
We got two big mulberries, but they're the mail, so they don't get the fruit, they just got those little seed things. All that rain this weekend
Yeah,
covered everything all over the place.
got a little over
But
an
it's better
inch.
than the fruits, because I cut it down.
Oh, yeah.
Got a little over an inch yesterday at my place from both
We
rains.
got
About an inch.
like a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
Got about a quarter of an inch in the morning
Some that
rain.
went
and
off to the west, some went off to the east.
It was literally just two like 10-minute bands. That's all it took.
First one must have came straight north because our front porch is pretty deep and it got all the way up against our door.
Oh, yeah.
So that north wind must have been blowing pretty hard when that happened. On the first one.
That long time. We make a rule, there's only so many whereas.
Yeah.
You can talk to Clancy about the whereas.
Did you got fishing this weekend?
I did not. We had multiple graduation parties to attend on Saturday. And we did something else, I don't remember. So, and then Sunday was, I went to the office for a while, my wife went to her office for a while, and then Sunday's the cleaning and grocery store day at our house, so.
Got my next BSN pinned and graduated on Saturday at Washburn, so
Right,
Yeah, so good, 3 weekends in a row now.
it will be, it will be. It's been nonstop.
and then have they all accepted jobs yet?
Yeah, the one that's has her bachelor's in nursing at North Kansas City, she's accepted a job at Surgical Center.
Mhm.
And then the one that is just graduating, accepted a job via Christie, and that will be the birthing
Mhm.
unit. That's where she did her last capstone.
Right,
And those ladies are just loved her, and they said, we gotta get you on here, we gotta get you on here, and so evidently they did. So she got an interview and got an offer right away, so
Okay.
she actually got days even for
oh, wow.
right out of college, so. And a very good rate for a young kid, so
Mhm.
it was good.
Get her off of the Rich Fargo tax
Now
rolls.
she can just continue to live like a college student for a while, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, her car just had a major breakdown, and when place got it fixed at, because that's the second one that had a major breakdown, and that car's still sitting there with the transmission out. As I told the guy, I said, I need to find a money tree. I said, the kids have found a money tree, but I need to find one.
Your money tree is not feeding their tree.
I said, I don't remember our parents being this nice.
I guarantee you mine weren't.
Yeah, the thing is, they weren't being, non-helpful. They just weren't even asked.
Yeah.
Nobody asked.
It's because you knew the answer.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of like your daughter asking the question. We knew not to ask it.
Oh, yeah, I knew not to even go there. Wasn't a chance in the world.
Yeah, our family's trying to solve the nursing shortage in Riley County anyway.
Good for you.
Seen a lot of pictures of nurses graduating. Now the key is, do they stay?
I don't, well, I can't say that. I don't know what sounds like the pay is coming up here. And that's, in this job market, that's what it's all about. I mean, pay and culture.
Well, it's not quite what the North Kansas City one was making, but I told her she'd have to adjust that, but not
Right.
horrible for sure. It's very good.
Right.
Very good.
Are there opportunities?
Then benefits, because she gets an additional benefit she's not getting where she's at now,
Mhm.
some places do profit sharing, and so.
We got a lot of transitions within our healthcare ecosystem
Mhm.
coming up, moving forward.
Mhm. So you guys talked about MATC. So they have an EMT program now. I think they're gonna add an advanced EMT, and then
Correct.
they're looking at adding a paramedic program.
Yes.
Right,
So,
yeah,
and
what you told me.
that's a pretty big bite to add a paramedic program. I'm certainly not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that's a pretty big undertaking.
I think with the square footage and what they're able to do and bring in, I think it's possible.
Yeah, very well could, but I know that's what they're,
Yeah,
what they're
it's gonna be
looking.
one of a kind. So
Good.
you'll get a lot of people, not just from the
There's-
region, but
Yeah, because there's one in Junction and they teach 2 or 3 classes at a time.
Yeah.
So in Martin County, so.
Okay, Martin, yeah.
Mhm. So. I think I'm actually on their advisory board, but I haven't heard from anybody in 2 years. So their instructor works for us, PRN.
yeah.
So I hear from him from time to time. He kind of pulls me aside. And,
It's like Elizabeth is trying to get in there.
oh, okay.
See if that works. Good.
Other daughter that just got her doctorate in PT, her last rotation was out at Ortho Sports Medicine out east, their new facility, and she got to treat Dee McKee and Pat Collins. And she goes, "Your last name?" And of course, they all know me. So Pat Collins even brought her in some berries that he grew out of his place.
I don't know about that.
Now, he brought us over some peaches one year that were just amazing
Yeah.
out on his farm. He's got a peach tree. Oh, man. And she goes, "Oh, these people I'm treating know you."
Yeah, that's what happens.
She was out on the east side.
Mhm.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, she got a job in Moore, Oklahoma. It's right outside of Oklahoma City, basically. That's where her fiance, the one that's getting married this weekend, he's coaching at University of Central Oklahoma. Football.
That's right. You said that.
He's the quarterback.
Washburn.
Washburn went
Central
to,
Missouri.
Moore, Oklahoma is a magnet for tornadoes.
It's
They're worse than
Not
Andover.
just tornadoes, but massive tornadoes.
There's moved more that way than here. I mean,
Yeah.
it used to be here, and
Mhm.
it's kind of, if you look, it's kind of,
It's a
the alley's
magnet
kind of
down there.
moved.
Yep.
Now that you said that.
Yeah, they keep going south.
Yeah.
I can blame David.
Yeah, the blame David. There you go.
So
Everybody else does. So you're just taking a ticket, standing in
So
line.
I
is what it
was-
sounds like.
I was at the first Andover tornado.
Was that
I was in
90?
paramedic school. I was in clinicals at St. Joseph. And,
Ah,
When that happened, and I was in the ER, when that happened, a couple of EMS crews were there and they got assigned that. And I said, "Hey, I'm going with you." And I knew them all because I, rode with them. And so I went out there and one of the first things I found was a mag light, like a 3D mag light.
Yeah.
Turned it on and it worked. So that was my flashlight and I still have it. And it's still in my vehicle today.
wow.
So if we're going through the rubble and mag light survived it.
So you have someone else's mag light, is what
I
you're saying.
do.
There's a term for that.
I think it's past the statute of limitations
This was
now.
before you guys- This was before cell phones and flashlights.
You want a law board?
Yeah.
There you go.
You might mention
There you go.
that.
Yep. So,
We've got some county employees.
Kurt might gladly arrest him.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's when they actually built mag lights, though. Those things were heavy, heavy
Oh,
duty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It took like, what, 6 double D
This one
batteries.
takes 3.
Well, those
Okay.
big ones, I mean, they were combination light self-defense.
Yeah. They're like 12 pounds. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, it's your turn.
All right, good morning, Commissioners. David Adams, EMS Ambulance Director with my monthly update. Start operations, call for service, April, 423 calls. So our numbers have trended up over the last couple of years. And I'm not ready to say that this is the new normal, but it seems like we're going down that road. So, excuse me, but numbers are definitely having up for the last year, and we're continuing that. North County, the calls are actually down, 15 calls last month. So, and then breaking down by stations, again, you know, state Medic 11 at the headquarters station, 164 calls, 21 here at the city hall, 130. The truck at Public Works, Mike 31 had 80, and then the airport 43. So really pretty even trend, not much really different there. Excuse me. And as I say, the rest of the calls are event standbys and supervisors. Some of the event standbys we had 2A basketball last year or last month. And then we've had some K-State track. I think that may have been on this month in May, but we had some K-State outdoor track meets and such. So there's always something going on there.
You guys do their baseball?
No,
Okay.
no,
I don't remember seeing them.
no, we do football, obviously, some volleyball when it's at Bramlage, the track, indoor and outdoor track, and soccer. So,
Why not baseball?
but no, they've, and really soccer was one I kind of questioned, you know, like, we really, but they were very insistent on it because of the potential for head injuries, players hitting heads and such, but yeah.
You know, a fastball to the head doesn't
They
constitute
haven't told me a
trauma.
lot. They haven't told me a lot.
Still.
So, but no, that's what we do. And anytime they have Bramlage open with more than, I don't remember the number, it's like 2,000 people, then they ask us to be there for that as well. So, but not for just any time it's open, but there's a number stipulation that they have. So, North County operations, we're going to go live with that first responder starting June 6th. Staff are hired and will be starting full-time here next week. And we've got all of the equipment in that we needed to go live with that. There's some that's not in yet, but we could use some of our equipment that we use for football games and stuff. We can use that until it gets in, but it's all slated to be in by football. So the last big piece of equipment that we were waiting on arrived last week. So we'll get that installed at through KCOM into that supervisor vehicle, and then we'll be ready to go. So Josh is meeting with our CFD staff this week, I believe, to finish out the operational things. And then our leadership team going up there to put eyes on that facility as well this week to kind of lay out some of what we were thinking and such. So, but yeah, so gonna go live with that June 6th. Tyler was just here. We verified we're good on the dispatch side. Everything's been turned on. It's just kind of hidden, you know, so we don't confuse the dispatchers. But that's up and running. So we're excited about that. I'm sorry it took a little longer. I was hoping a couple weeks earlier, but with just the supply chain things, there's just a couple things we really couldn't go without.
Sure. Yeah.
And went until we got them in. So, but we're excited. So, and then we received the initial documents from Anderson Knight about the station up there. I know John's reached back out to KDOT, had some checking on some questions from KDOT, have not heard back from them. So, and then Rich and John and I met via Zoom and went over those initial documents. John sent the questions to Anderson Knight, got a very prompt response. And we have not had a chance to touch base again because you guys were out last week, but we'll touch base this week and see kind of where we go from there. But really, we're waiting on the land. So
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
We got you working on that.
well, we're trying to figure out
We haven't decided.
Which
make it
direction the
work.
building's gonna be facing depends on what parts, what land.
Oh,
So we're kind of held up by KDOT right now,
oh,
so,
what they're gonna allow.
Mhm.
yeah, so,
I knew the fire station, but that.
Right.
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
and, you know, unfortunately, they kind of work at their schedule. And,
in the midst of consults and, yeah, some yearly
So-
things right now.
so we're trucking right along, but we're kind of held up by KDOT, but, you know, to John's credit and to our appreciation, he's pushing them on it and trying to get some answers, so.
He told me he thought they were being a little easier than they were last.
It's,
So far,
the
anyway,
email chain looks like they're being pretty, you know, cooperative, but we just need an answer.
The final,
Yeah, so,
until the final words in, it's only words.
right, so, but, we'll be back to talk about those documents whenever we can sit down and kind of go through it again a little more in depth, so. But like I said, John sent them questions and Dan Knight was very proactive and replied with the answers and explanations that, you know, to the questions that we had, so. We're moving forward on that, so.
Greg, are you involved with this planning process?
Once we,
I'm gonna
To
go.
me, or?
I was gonna call him tomorrow and see if I can come in and see what's going on.
yeah, no, absolutely,
Curious.
we're just, no, absolutely, so we haven't gotten very far into this, you know, but, yeah, absolutely. We're going to, because I'm gonna ask for some of your help on some of this here
Okay.
pretty soon.
All right.
So, but. The public safety headquarters, so, and some of this is a little out of date just from last week, but Arch Images conducted their interviews and space study analysis of emergency management, county fire, EMS, and then the dispatch center on the 22nd, I believe it was. Very productive day with them. We covered a lot of ground. They asked a lot of really good questions and such. And since then, last Thursday afternoon, so it was after I think I put this in, we received their initial paperwork at 61 pages of breaking down all of the different rooms, the size of the rooms, kind of what their needs were, you know, whether it's carpeted or tiled or whether it's, you know, painted, you know. So I read through it once, it looked really pretty good. I think we missed one room that I was kind of back and forth on. But you know, Russell, I just asked Russell and he's gonna look at his and get it looked through. But it'll go out to our leadership team to just make sure there's nothing that I missed and such. But I was really impressed with it. And they had 3 or 4 different block diagrams, if you will. You know, if you put the bays here, EMS staff here, you could do this and this and this. And there was only one that I said no to. And it was because it had the base and it had the EMS living quarters above it on a different floor. And
You're not gonna put it in a fire pole?
no, they said no. They said no. So, but it looked really good. So,
Scrap the whole thing now.
yeah, you start all over. So, but the square footage, I almost say is 15,000 square feet, which is what we were expecting. So, so it looks pretty good, but we need to delve in a little closer, and I'll get that done today. That's my afternoon.
Are they putting any numbers together in terms of cost,
No,
pricing?
I did not see any
Okay.
on there, so no.
Well, I just estimated that at 15,000, so.
Are you
Six.
planning to put like another
6
floor on the top for an expansion in the future?
That's really at the direction of the BOCC. We have not, because we had not received any direction. We certainly can, and now would be the time.
What was that?
If we're gonna put an empty 3rd floor for expansion.
Yeah, I do remember Catherine saying something about,
Yeah.
at least the direction we gave them is we didn't want it to be filled up when we moved in. It's gotta have room to grow. We didn't specifically say an empty
Right.
floor,
Right.
but enough room, like
It-
if they do have a secondary dispatch or anything, you know, room to grow for the next 20 years. That way you don't have to put an addition on. So we did emphasize that, but not
Yeah.
necessarily an empty floor. So the commission needs to decide
Yeah, well, they did that at the hospital. I don't know if they've ever expanded into that top
They-
floor, but they
I-
did the initial, because the costs
They
are
did.
only gonna go up in the future.
Right, no, 100%. And I think it would be used, whether it's used for EMS or emergency management, or if it's used for something else, as the county's looking for space and such. So now would be the time to do it, but we have not instructed them on that just because we.
It comes down to cost to see what it, see what what we have to have cost, what it would be to.
That's not
Yeah.
part of kind of the consulting process. I mean, we have made it clear that this is both a now and a future.
Yeah,
Well, no, I mean, they built in some future expansion for us.
Right.
Right, like, we have a storage room that's empty. They have another room that's empty, but as far as like a whole nother floor, no.
No,
Because
I'm talking
it wouldn't
that
have to be
necessarily,
finished,
but
though.
No,
I mean,
not
it would,
finished at all. It just,
even
you just,
if
no, it'd
maybe
be
even not
fair.
used, but.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
No, but no,
So,
no.
yeah, the cost would be less at this point.
Good.
No,
No,
I made
absolutely.
it clear that we wanted room to expand in the future,
Okay.
not an empty floor.
Right,
right,
In
yeah, that's
the
not
area close where the ambulance staff's going to be, they need room to grow, but
Mhm.
not an additional empty floor.
right.
Right,
Okay.
but we can ask them for that and get a cost estimate for that as
Maybe
well.
an estimate on what the, an empty, like a non-finished floor.
Yeah,
Square
just a
footage
rough
would be-
in and really, yeah,
Shell.
absolutely, just a shell, absolutely. No, we can do that. So,
Have them do that as an alternate.
Yeah.
Alternate, yeah.
Yep.
I'd like to see that.
It's, I don't know. I'm thinking high on this one, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
so,
Yeah,
Okay.
we've got to be able to grow. I mean, you look at the law enforcement center, and if they would have put an empty floor on that, we'd
I know.
be in a lot better shape, so.
yeah,
We've got
absolutely.
federal funds here, and I'm thinking we're approaching close to probably 10, if not more.
Yeah.
I'm just,
we've
but
got what-
if you're putting alternatives together, that's not.
Yeah, there's an alternative to see it.
Okay, we'll get that done. I continue to participate as part of the county policy working group. And we had two of our employees attended a EMT job fair, Washburn Tech, last week. Went really well. Commissioner McKinley, Josh did reach out to the superintendent up at the Riley County shortly after we talked.
Uh-huh.
And they said it's kind of too late in the year, but we'll look at
Set up
next
for
year.
next year.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
yeah. So, but we did. It took a little bit to get back from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did do that promptly. So,
But yeah, I know it's there's a lot of, this time of year, there's a lot going on.
Right.
Different stuff.
yeah,
But like I
absolutely.
say, just get it.
Mhm.
program started.
And we've got that in his calendar to follow up with them next year, get on their
Okay.
calendar, so. And then last under operations, Potawatomi County has asked us to borrow one of our mobile medic units again this year. Well, we've done it multiple times in the past. We have a equipment loan agreement that we get from emergency management. They fill it out. They've always taken very good care of our equipment. It always comes back clean, full of fuel. But they've asked again for their 4th of July celebrations and that week over there.
So that's not June, that's July then.
No, it's actually June 30th through July 5th.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, I'm sorry, through July 5th.
30th,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So,
It's all June on there.
so
Makes sense.
if you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
okay. I don't feel comfortable just loading out equipment without
Appreciate
asking.
Now, if they have to use that for a medical emergency, since it's in Pike County, where did they take the?
They have a little place set up in the park, in the
Okay.
Public Works area there. And then they transport via their ambulance to wherever they end up
To
transporting.
various hospitals, they
Mhm.
could end up in Topeka.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be Wamego, Manhattan, Topeka, St. Mary's, so. But, yep,
Yeah, they've got a little building that they use for that on the northwest
Northwest
corner
Northwest
there.
corner.
yeah.
Mhm. So, so we had
Fortunately.
in some of our classes, we have initial classes, then we have, what are like a refresh So we did an initial AMLS class because we've had some new paramedics who've come out of school in the last 6 months and such. And so we put on an initial, it's a full 2-day class. It's really in depth. And so that was the big thing that Alex had here in the last couple of weeks, other than his normal operations. And one of these days I'll put in there kind of what he does and kind of what Josh does. So I'll add some of that in here. I think about it when I'm trying to get these submitted, but I've got a note on my calendar to do that. So kind of show you kind of what else Alex does and what else Josh does. So continue to teach CPR AD training as well as multiple static demonstrations. And then employee last week went through the car seat technician training, which we really appreciated. That's a long week for employees. They've shortened it. It used to be 40-hour week, and now it's 24, but it's a full 3 days. So, we really appreciated her going through that in Kansas City and such. That helps us out quite a bit. We do the car seat check lane the second Tuesday of every month, and it can be a struggle for us to get somebody there, but adding somebody to do that helps us. So. And then I will tell you, I got the email this morning, the new truck that is slated for delivery. We're going to go up June 12th, which is a Sunday, and then do our final inspection on June 13th, and then hopefully bring it back with us. So, so we're going to head over there, and we should have everything ordered for it, and then I will put it on the calendar to KCOM, get radios installed and some of that such. So. Just our breakdown of calls. You can tell the weather's getting warmer Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's where our uptick in calls are, and not surprising at all. So, and then again, when you get down here, you start looking. Starting about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It picks up till drops off a little bit, 11 o'clock at night. And kind of the rest of the evening kind of waxes and wanes, 1 to 2 a.m. when the bars close. So that's
almost like it's predictable.
Almost like it's predictable, absolutely. So, and then a breakdown, like I said, of our units and the different events and such that they've done. So, any questions on any of that?
So this was for the month of
April.
April, okay, so I wouldn't include this past weekend.
No.
So a lot of people in town.
There was a lot of people in town.
A lot of
Yes.
parties and that kind of thing.
Yes, there were. So I stayed up and listened to them. I think it was Saturday night, and I listened to them for a while, and they were hopping.
Oh, yeah.
So they were motoring around quite a bit. So. Okay.
Press conference.
Yep. Yes, sir.
We have a proclamation designate the week of May 15th to 21st of 2022 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. Whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, and other healthcare professionals. And whereas the members of emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas Riley County Emergency Medical Services providers continue to uphold and demonstrate the department core values, compassion, professionalism, and integrity. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by the designated Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, we, the Raleigh County Board of Commissioners, in recognition of the event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 15th to May 21st of 2022 as Emergency Medical Services Week.
Thank you very much.
That's his copyright.
Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate this. They work very hard. They do a great job. You know, they are very engaged in our community, and they love the people that they serve, and they appreciate everything that you do for them. So thank you very much.
Another great.
Some of the actual flyer, in case you decide you really want to. Copy of the news release. Sir. Copies of that I need, so. Keep one for myself. Good morning again. Greg McClure, Riley County Extension Ag Agent. Just wanted to share with you about our upcoming wheat plot tour. So our tour of the Riley County Extension wheat plot tour will be held at 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, May 25, and that's at the plot site, which is 3 miles east of Riley, 2.5 miles south on Anderson, and a mile back east on North 52nd Street. And that is the SAVE farm. So service member, agriculture, vocational education. I have to work to remember that. That's what the SAVE stands for. Yeah. And so we were asked if we would like to put the plot there. It's actually a good location. It's a good site. We got a nice flat level spot and plenty of parking and actually a porta potty, you know, things we don't often have for our wheat plot tours. So I think it'll be a good event. We've got 18 varieties in the plot. I won't read those to you, but there are plenty to look at. So all popular varieties, and it'll be an interesting plot. It looks good. It's not very tall, maybe 18 inches tall, and that's kind of what you get in a drought year. You don't get very tall wheat. Romulo Lolato, K-State Research and Extension wheat and forages agronomist, will be the featured speaker. So there's a free supper at 6:30 p.m. Tour will be held immediately following. I do need reservations by noon on Monday, the 23rd. And you can make reservations online at www.riley.ksu.edu, or you can call me at the extension office, 785-537-6350. You can make it. I'd love to see you.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Next commissioner, you have amendment 940.
I think that's about it. I went last year, it's at the SAVE farm, but might be interesting to go see that. I've been out there before, but.
We haven't out to the farm, not for this, but
Wonder how many people do they have out there? Say, veterans, right?
Yeah, but they, I mean, you only got like 2 full-time people, but you know, they have classes there. So I don't know if anything was going on.
Wonder if they're making any headways as far as getting people involved in farming.
They've had a couple of the beekeeping ones.
Yeah.
A couple of people start like that. I don't know what the others. But. And it's interesting because, like I say, with this, you know, they just got, you know,
Rows
3
of
rows
wheat.
of different. But you, when you, even somebody like me that I was looking at, can see the different types. There's just, you know, a little bit of different colors, some different heights, different. You know, there's just different. And they talk about this one. You've got dry land. This is going to be better. You got irrigated. You need to look at some of these, and you know.
Oh,
Like I said, but
that would be
it
interesting.
was interesting, you know, didn't apply to anything I did, but it
Yeah,
was interesting
that
to
would
see all
be, yeah.
different. And the guy, I don't know if this is the same guy as was there last year, talking about different varieties. Okay, this one's good, you got this land, you got this.
Mhm.
Some people, southern Kansas, this one's more, this really didn't do as well up here, but this area. You know.
That's interesting.
So it's,
yeah.
I mean, it's a good,
Just
that's
be
like
there
good
just
education
winter
for
wheat
them.
and-
Yeah, just, I think there's weeds, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it on again, Amanda?
Good morning again. Amanda Webb, Planning Director, 2 for 2 right now. Or our second item, I should say, maybe not 2 for 2 yet. What I have before you now is a letter of support for a city sewer benefit district for properties on Stottle and Pillsbury. We've been working with, here's the map showing the properties that are included in this benefit district. We've been working with the city on this since last summer-ish. One of the property owners you can see labeled as 1A and 1B. That is one piece of property right now that has 2 homes on it, and they share a septic system, wastewater system. It's perfect in fine working order right now, no failures, which is good. But they had inquired about splitting the property. And of course, they can't do that because the resulting properties would be too small in order to have 2 conforming wastewater systems. So that's kind of what got the conversation going. There is city services right here, as you can see on this map. So a couple things are happening. So again, because they want to split, they don't meet our minimum lot sizes, et cetera. We also have on, I believe it's property 3, they have a failing system. They do have space since it's a large property, but of course, with them being so close to city services, it made sense for them to get involved in the benefit district as well. And our Riley County Sanitary Code says if it's reasonably feasible, if you're within 400 feet of public service, you need to hook up. You can't repair or expand or do a new one if it's reasonably feasible. And since it's literally right across the street, and the city has crunched the numbers, and the property owners involved in the yellow highlighted there are on board with it, it is feasible to do so. Again, this is a city benefit district, so nothing would come before you folks for approval or finance or anything like that. What Randy DeWitt, Public Works over at the city asked is that staff can write a letter of support, which is what's in your packet. So I talked to Craig a little bit, just wanted to give you folks, of course, an update and kind of float by you my draft letter, make sure you're comfortable with that. For me to be able to give that to the city. They have that before their commission, I believe tomorrow evening. He was able to get it on their agenda. And so hopefully that will be getting wrapped up. Again, it's been something we've been working on for a little bit. As you know, a lot of these things, just a lot of, back and forth, just working out the details and whatnot. So it seems like they're pretty well there, again, to be able to get this going. So happy to answer any questions, or if there's anything you'd like me to add or remove or change from my letter, please let me know.
I assume they checked any other nearby properties to see anyone else interested.
Yeah, and that's part of what's taking a little bit of time. There's others, of course, that could be involved in the benefit district. And I believe actually several years back, there was one, I kind of came upon it when I was working on this one and some of the electronic files. That had been worked on for some properties to the south of this. And it was approved and everything, but I don't think anything's gone forward with it as of yet. So they have worked to see if other property owners wanted to be involved or if it needed to be, their own separate, just kind of the different, where the lines fall and what the costs are. So how it came out was, it's just these, I guess it's, 5 property owners, if you will, even though there's 2 houses on 1A and 1B, it's still just one property and one property owner. So it's just the 5, after all that, looking into it over these last several months, it's just the 5 that are into this particular one.
One of the lines is yellow and one blue. Is there a difference? Or what is that?
Yes, so it's kind of a 2-parter here. So the yellow is, as you can kind of see, I'm pointing at my screen, you're not seeing it. As you can kind of see where that line falls, it's going to serve it's going to serve 1 and 2 and 3, and then there's going to be kind of another secondary line which is the blue, that's going to come over for 5. So that's kind of how that's going to work. So they're calling it kind of 2 benefit districts, if you will. It's like a 2-parter per se.
Well, is 4 going to have to run all the way through somebody else's, connect to it. and not-
Yeah, it'll come up through here. Yeah, they'll hook up through here. So the yellow, these yellow and blue lines are the infrastructure they'll put on. So of course, then everybody will have their own offshoots, you know, for their particular homes or businesses or whatever. So, and of course, that's on them to, you know, do that piece of it like normal. So the yellow, the thick yellow and the thick blue lines are of course the infrastructure that they'll put in as part of this benefit district. And then again, everybody will do their own offshoots to their actual structures. And then again, up to 4 will do that.
What is number 8? What is that? It looks,
It's a storage.
is that a storage?
Yeah.
Was-
it's just-
Yes. Yes, that is a storage structure. And again, it's not part of, I'm not really, I'm not sure if that 8 was, because these properties down here were, we talked to these folks to see if they wanted to be involved, and they're gonna be on their own at a separate time. So that 8 probably just kind of got left over from the original map.
Okay.
So,
It's also a storage unit, so I mean, how much sewer
right,
EG we're gonna have there, so I
right.
don't
So there's a
think
different
they even
line
have
on
electricity
Johnson.
there, to be honest with
Yeah,
you,
but-
other than a night, emergency light.
Yeah,
think
so there's a
about it.
different line on Johnson that they talk
Yeah.
about hooking up to that. So it wound up, through all the discussions on this, it wound up that it makes more sense for that one to just be separate and go to Johnson rather than the one that's model.
So we need to approve the letter of support?
Yeah.
Is that what we need to do?
It's,
Okay, well, I would make a motion to support this benefit district in the letter that you're sending to the city of Manhattan.
Well, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the sewer benefit district and our letter of support to the city. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
thank you very much.
Ready to bid opening? Bid opening, ma'am? Here's the bid opening, sir. Hold on, Sam. No, Sam. Good.
Good.
Long weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Certainly a lot of people out.
Yeah, sure. Robert, what's that?
Saturday evening, what was that earlier, Rich? It wasn't just 2 people at the table, it was, you know, groups of 8 and 10 coming in and out. There was a lot
Oh,
of
that had to
large
be
groups.
crazy.
It was a little loud.
I usually stay home on those weekends.
We had to go do some other stuff in the afternoon, so we decided to give it a try. It's a noise that's on. When my wife has hearing loss. It's loud like that, it's hard to even talk across the table.
Yeah, well, I'm that way too, just,
Yeah, people sitting outside. If you're sitting outside, inside.
Oh, graduation weekend
Yeah.
anywhere?
Oh, yeah, it was,
Yeah, I didn't bother.
like I said,
doing
it
that.
wasn't
You
one
stay
or
home
2
too,
people.
huh?
at-
Well, I did this weekend, but I had other issues that seemed to pop up. Like I said, I had a pipe break from the apartment next door out of the drain traffic. It broke right there where it connects, and it just left water everywhere.
Oh, goodness.
So, and then in the midst of that, the key fob on my truck went out, so I had to have somebody come
Battery
in.
or what?
I think the whole thing just quit. I mean, just quit the panic, the whole thing, yeah, so.
My car keeps saying replace the battery, and I can't figure out where how you get the battery out of it, so. I don't know.
The battery?
Yeah, and the key fob.
Oh, I
I
think it,
have no idea.
I think it's one of 2
Tried to
things. I
check
think
the
they
car.
just go out and that's the end of it and you buy a new one. I would suggest not going to the dealership on
I've
that.
got
did that.
an extra one,
Yeah.
but I'm going, okay, there's gotta be a place to
Yeah,
get the battery.
it was $160 and I mean, it's expensive, but it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. And they have to order me a new one that has the remote start on it because the one he gave me doesn't. So I'll have to pay twice, but it'll still be cheaper than buying one from the dealership. And then I'll have a backup next time. So I'll just gonna deal with that.
Those kinds of things, you just never know.
Never ever had a problem with being able to not start a vehicle or start
That's
one.
crazy.
Ready, commissioners?
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a bid opening here for corrugated metal pipe and bands. Fun stuff this morning. First one that I see on the list here is from J&J Drainage Products Company out of Hutchinson, Kansas. Big fat envelope. Okay, so I see here basically just a total price for everything it looks like we need here of $46,781. Else is important on here.
Where do we use these?
Oh,
Culverts.
yeah,
Culverts
and
and that kind of
entrances,
thing.
drainage. Mostly, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say it's replacing culverts and then also putting in entrances. First bid from J&J Drainage Products. Total bid $46,781.
Second one that I see here is from Metal Culverts Incorporated. It's out of Jefferson City, Missouri. We'll get to it here shortly, I promise. Fingers just not gonna work this morning. I promise, I'll get there. I do promise.
Yes.
It is, always. Okay, the total bid number I see here is $50,907. Looks like everything is the same. Excuse me, as the other one. Yeah.
This bid from Metal Culverts Inc., Jeff City, Missouri. Total price $50,907.
Last one that I see here is from Contact Engineered Solutions LLC. That's out of Lawrence, Kansas. Total bid that I see there is $37,905.10. 15 items on that one as well.
Final bid from Contact Engineering. Total price $37,905.10.
Great. So if there's any questions or comments, concerns, I will go ahead and make a motion that we send the bids back to staff for further evaluation and analysis and a bid recommendation.
I second that.
And moved and seconded to forward these to staff for review and recommendations. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next commissioner, you have Bob Isaac at 10 o'clock.
wondering what Alvin was.
Their
He and
conference.
John and Kevin are.
They're at a conference.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unionization this weekend started playing the original Top Gun. Getting ready.
I'm gonna find somebody with an original Nintendo so I can play the game too.
Actually, I am. I was excited for it because, back in the day when I was much younger, it was the movie, so a lot of the actors, my generation is familiar with, so, yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Kirk was in, yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I are both actually go to the movie theater to watch, because it's one of those, I really appreciate it. It's one of those type of movies, I think.
Wow. That's
Before that, I worked for Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my son's
Oh,
good
well,
friends is actually a
when I was
fighter
there,
pilot for the
it
Navy.
wasn't-
They graduated with, and it was Tosh Taylor's
One where they are now.
Public Works Department, went to Riley County High School. So Tosh sent him a picture of him flying the jet.
Yeah, it wasn't mobile, it was a concrete block building, but.
He's actually married another
But then I worked
pilot in the Navy. They get married, so.
I don't know which one, which engineers you work with. Oh, John Young?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like 90s. China was here.
No, I was old enough. World Star, still there when I was there.
Good movie, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, the original, there's 6 owners there. We're all Frank. And then
Yeah, so yeah, this is one I'm excited to go see, movie theater.
Jerry.
If I do the dinner movie thing date night with the wife and I, so.
Go see Limax. Have you seen the new place?
I would imagine I would,
Yeah, I was out
That's what
there.
it says they shot a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
It should be being in the
Well,
floodplain.
yeah, so
Well,
yeah.
I was in the building
Excited to
before
see
that.
it.
Do you know where they, on Anderson?
Yeah.
I think it's a realtor's
I
office.
wasn't really a fan of the first one. The one that was,
That's where-
I saw like.
That's where I started. And then I was there when we
And then
moved.
everyone's like, David Bond Burnett. Is it gonna be?
Yeah, no, we moved to that building.
To that building.
No, there was one.
And it's just, the
East
technology and filming
Casey
and
Foundation
movie making and stuff, I mean,
There's a little.
the original Star
Little
Wars, when
drive
it
there,
came
it's
out,
a
it was
little
like, oh my
wood
gosh,
building,
sci-fi, all the special
Yeah,
effects, we look at it now, it's like, that was baby
Yeah.
steps.
And before that, I
You know,
guess,
that
before that, one
technology,
time they were down.
so it gets better as
Well, they
time
just
goes on,
opened
like everything does.
in
So
50.
that's where I think people in
Their
that
office
generation
flooded.
struggle, because everything is so much more.
We're gonna go somewhere that won't
Yeah,
come out,
I'm gonna get up
some
and down somewhere.
And sure, it happens again. Have a prototype jet.
Oh.
Remember that was made just the one behind Burnett. It was so realistic and everything else because it kept getting China was like.
Yeah, well, it was on, they added on to it after I was there. Sometime.
Thinking they were doing something.
Put a big addition on it.
Like, yeah, they think it was a real
But it was still-
prototype jet.
Uh-huh.
But no, we moved a lot of the equipment ourselves.
You never know, they could
A lot of
model one
desks,
after it.
everything we had.
See that? 2 guys in a truck. No.
Yeah, we had to take up some. Because we were cleaning out this one attic area, and Frankie was climbing up in there, because there's records from there from back in the 50s, some of their old records. And he goes, I don't need some of these.
Yeah. It's all my stuff.
But we had, he was one that said, what got thrown away. A few seconds.
Now you break it, you buy it. That's the deal.
Kevin's on there.
All the staff that should know something about a mic.
Yeah. Just on.
The band player.
But he's a drummer, and you know drummers are the craziest ones of the entire thing.
Say, drummers are my favorite thing.
Yeah. They keep telling me I don't need a mic. Especially for singing part.
Yeah,
I want people to invite us back.
because the objective is to keep playing, right?
Okay, you're on.
Okay, let me get some of this glare out of the screen. Okay, well, good morning, folks. On behalf of Walnut Grove Land LLC, Albert D. Woods has made application with Raleigh County Planning and Development requesting approval of a residential use designator for an extraneous farmstead for an unplatted tract of land and to plat the property into one single lot. Let's go get this to work. There we go. The subject property is generally located approximately 780 feet north of William Wood Road on the east side of West 52nd Avenue. And what appears to be a pretty simple, straightforward thing was actually complicated with the adoption of our regulations. And I'll get to that in a moment. The subject site is approximately a 3.3 acre portion of a larger, approximately 40 acre parent tract. The applicant is requesting a residential use designated extraneous farmstead for that portion of the parent tract occupied by the existing single family residence that was built circa 1904 and moved to the site in the early 50s. The site has been zoned AG agricultural district since at least 1974. In 1986, the parent tract was part of a multi-parcel conditional use authorization, which was approved for a golf course that was never realized. There are no special uses, variances, or other conditional uses associated with the subject property. A small portion of the subject property along the east property line lies within the 0.2% annual chance flood. At this time, the 0.2 annual chance floodplain is not included as part of the regulatory floodplain, as per the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations, and does not impact the existing development of the lot. Now, I was telling you about the complications. This is one of a small portion of the northwest corner of the proposed lot is located within the Eureka Valley K-18 Corridor Overlay District and is subject to the requirements of Section 4.2 Corridor Overlay Districts of the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations. There's that's just affecting a horse pasture at this point. Any development within it obviously would be subject to those. Another thing is the entire property is located within the Airport Overlay District. Again, was not part of this area until it was adopted the first of this year. Part of the regulatory changes established with the adoption of the new land development regulations was elimination of the N1 airport noise hazard zone in favor of utilizing the more advanced airport overlay district that the city of Manhattan uses. Although the subject property was not in the N1 zoning district, upon adoption of the new land development regulations, the subject property is included in the airport overlay district as shown here. The magenta line outlining the blue conical area depicts the boundary of the AOD with the subject property well within it. Getting a little bit closer here, you can see, adding to complexity of the site, navigation easement overlays a portion of the northeast portion of the subject property. The easement was granted and recorded as was granted and recorded as of September 24th of 1980 and is shown on the final plat. Slightly larger portion of the property lies in the precision instrument runway approach zone for runway 31, shown here in green, while the home and outbuildings are located within the transitional surface zone shown in beige yellow. That portion of the property located within the navigation easement as shown on the plat is subject to the restrictions of that easement. So we have restrictions of the corridor overlay district, there's navigation easement, there's the airport overlay district to go along with this. And of course the floodplain regulations. So it's very complicated, it's as simple as it looks. The Raleigh County Fire District number 1 will serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the Ogden Fire Station located at 500 East O'Reilly Avenue. City of Manhattan Fire Station is located north of K-18, east of the airport as a second responder.
The subject site is located within 5 road miles of the fire station. These are the specific criteria for approving a residential use designator for a extraneous farmstead. And the Riley County Planning Board, the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board heard the request, had no questions or no concerns with it. This is the preliminary plat illustrating the orientation and location of the lot boundaries, the house, accessory building, and driveway. The subject site directly abuts West 52nd Avenue, a gravel 2-lane local road maintained by the township. There are no new entrances being proposed with this request. As mentioned, the entire property is located within the AOD. Portions of the property are located within the 0.2% annual chance flood within floodplain district and the Eureka Valley K-18 corridor overlay district as shown. Also, a portion of the north end of the property is located within the navigation easement. Each of the aforementioned districts and navigation easement have their own development requirements and limitations. Fortunately, the existing buildings are located outside of the corridor overlay district, navigation easement, and floodplain. They must be shown on the final plat. And this is the final plat. Couple pics of the property standing on the right of way of West 52nd Avenue, looking northeast at the existing single family residence. Just kind of moving northward and seeing the home on to your right, and the garage situated north of the house shown here are the proposed lot. And just beyond that, you can see the horse pasture, as I mentioned. This is the area where that corridor overlay district kind of goes across. The lot needed to be large enough to be consistent with the requirements of the sanitary code and Riley County land development regulations. So the residential use designator allows for one residence, which is existing, and does not provide an opportunity to replat without going through the formal review process to change the zoning. On May 2nd, as mentioned, the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board unanimously approved the request for a residential use designator extraneous farmstead, as it has been determined that it meets the minimum requirements of the Riley County land development regulations. Planning Board also approved the concurrent plat of Walnut Grove, as has been determined that the Riley County Sanitary Code and the review factors in subsection 26(9)C-3D of the Manhattan Development Code have been met. Staff recommends that the Board of County Commissioners acknowledge the approved final plat of Lot 1 of Walnut Grove, accepting any easements, rights of way, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the final plat. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, I feel those.
Okay. Well, say no.
No, is that metal shed, is that considered a garage? That's shown on the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes with that house. The agricultural buildings to the south will remain with the farm. And it's kind of a tough one to see here, but there's actually a driveway right along that line here. There's a loop driveway here and one back here. So this driveway will serve the house. There's a separate entrance right here that serves that garage. All existing.
Anything else? Nope. Okay, well then I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve resolution number 051622, approving the Walnut Grove plat and accepting all the street right of ways, easements, and licenses as shown to be dedicated on said plat.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution 051622, acknowledging the approval of the final plat of Walnut Grove. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All three sign, please. Next commissioner, you have Clancy Holman.
We probably have a Mylar up there too, don't we?
Yeah, we have a Mylar up there.
So I sign that, I'll sign that.
You got us trained a little bit.
Clancy, how long is the exec gonna be?
I get 10 minutes. Do the
10 minutes only.
letter first and then 10 minutes for executive session. I'm not gonna hold up Bill. How excited he is to get up there.
So we get to load and hide that one.
I'm sorry?
Oh,
Well, I'm just not sure.
Thanks, sir.
If you would.
It's an old house.
It's important to you. That's always a challenge.
I'm getting old.
Oh, that goes.
I gotta make some changes.
Well, it's nice meeting you.
That, have a good one. All right, Betsy.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Clancy Holman, Raleigh County Council. Whoop, sorry. But here today for a couple of items. The first project list. If you have questions on that, let me know. Got a little bit of limited time here for what I want to accomplish. So if you see something in there that you have questions about, feel free to contact me after the meeting individually if you like. First item I'd like to cover is this proposed letter of support for House Bill number 2380. The car makes it clear what the purpose of this letter is. House Bill 2380 actually, despite the fact it's known as the motor vehicle flat fee tax bill, it does involve a fee increase as part of it. It actually is a benefit of Raleigh County because it reduces the amount of potentially reduces the amount of property tax dollars that need to subsidize the operations of the Treasurer's Office, which are directly related to performing a function that is the state's motor vehicle title and vehicle registration. So that's the concept here. That's the long and the short of it. The purpose of the letter will be to notify leadership of the Senate. The bill is on as the card indicates, the bill's actually pending. So when the legislature returns next Monday, leadership will have the ability to direct what happens with that item, even though it's below the line.
That's what I was, and I don't understand all that stuff. I thought below the lines was gone.
No, below the line just means it hasn't been moved up for debate or action, committee action.
It would be, other than the fact that it's in an appropriations committee.
Oh.
So House Ways and
there's
Means and
certain
Taxation,
committees that-
yeah, and it's of my opinion,
figured
correct me
out
if I'm
all
wrong,
this.
Shiloh, but that bill is sitting just right, I mean, it is the bill right
Right
under
there.
the line, so I would say it's on the fence, would be the term I would use.
One, you raise a good point about having been blessed or coming from a committee that's not subject to any of the rules. It's nice for all the rules they have, and then there's all these committees that are not subject to it.
Right.
Even if a bill just apparently has walked past the committee while it's in session, no, that's a little bit exaggeration, but it has to actually be in one of those committees, and this is in Ways and Means, and I think they're in committee, I believe.
Oh.
And bills are actually directed to certain committees specifically for that purpose, so that they can have action right up to the final days. So the purpose will be to convince leadership. When I started crafting the letter, I was shocked to find out how many people were actually individual senators and part of the leadership team, including a senator assigned to the agenda. So
Rules.
that was interesting. But unless you have questions, Shiloh was graciously come in here at my request, even though she's scheduled to be away today. This is an important item. Her association's been working on this for 4 years. So clearly treasurers across the state believe it's a good idea. If you have questions, I'd be glad to try and answer them or palm them off on Shiloh.
Been working on this for a long time, for several years, haven't they?
Yes, this is the second session that we've presented this. And can I?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
One piece that's also, that got amended onto this bill is the $4 vehicle modernization fee that got put on when we moved to movers, and it was intended to be used to modernize our motor vehicle system. And it was supposed to phase out. Instead of phasing out, they just moved where the money was going, and that $4 currently goes to KDOT. And there's leadership, and the governor's office also wants that $4 eliminated. So that's also tied into this bill. With that $4 being eliminated, for most of our transactions, it would either be a fee increase or fee decrease or a very slight increase. So for example, a renewal would only be a 25-cent increase to the customer. When you put in our $10 flat fee and subtract off what we were already getting when we did a renewal, we were getting $5.75. We're asking for $10, which would be a $4.25 increase. Well, if you get rid of the modernization fee, that's only gonna be a 25-cent increase to the customer. And it would help us because the majority of our transactions are renewals. The overall, if you took every single type of transaction that we do, because there's different fees associated with it, it's like a $1.64 increase to the customer if you average all of those out. So we're just very, very close. The Treasurers Association's lobbyists have been working with leadership behind the scenes, still trying to see what we need to do to get this pushed over the finish line. And our last ditch effort now is to ask the commissioners, and all the treasurers are supposed to be discussing this with their commissioners to try to get their support as well, because as I've pointed out many times, you are significantly subsidizing the motor vehicle fee, the motor vehicle department, the things that we do on behalf of the state. It just cannot sustain with the fees that we're currently allowed to retain to do the job. For our county, this increase still won't make us whole. But I think I've told you before that the goal was to get a consistent fee across the entire state. And because it's a transaction-based fee, the number of transactions that we perform here in Riley County are significantly different than what a Johnson County does or what a Gove County does. So we averaged it out, and this was the amount that we came up with. We didn't want Riley County to have to charge $15 and Johnson County is charging $7. And so that's where we came up with the $10. And so I'm asking, I read the letter, I think it's excellent. I forwarded it on to our lobbyists to see, to let them know kind of what we're doing. And they've asked if they could use it as an example for other commissioners to use as well. So I really do appreciate your time today, and I hope that we do have your support.
The
I
only
think
thing,
you should have copyrighted it.
yes.
Yeah, I stole all of Shiloh's language. It already provided.
Oh, Shiloh, you copyrighted. The only thing I might add on here is while we send this letter out to leadership, and I'm fine with that we also include our state senator, Tom Hobb. I did not get a chance to talk to him because he wasn't at the leadership retreat last week. That's how my days are running on. So
He's in there.
he is. Okay. I didn't catch that. So, okay. Other than that, yeah, I'm fine with trying to push this forward. So, okay. So let's see, we need to make a motion. Is that correct? Okay. So I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the letter of support on Senate substitute for House Bill 2389, the motor vehicle flat fee bill.
2380.
What would I say?
Get it a
389.
9.
Numbers.
Just testing everything.
Okay, everybody's paying attention this morning. Okay, 2380.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve to sign the letter as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All three sign multiple times, please.
All right, well, thank you very much, and I will keep you posted.
Okay, sounds good.
So you had a graduation this weekend too?
I did, yeah, my daughter graduated from Colby Community College
Good deal.
and starts work tomorrow, so another one off my payroll.
Yeah.
A lot of that going around.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going this weekend with the grandkids. Is there, she was on the payroll. with me.
Which everybody I know is graduated. I have nobody on the payroll, so. Speaking of, what was the graduating number at MHS this year?
Believe 387.
Not quite as big
That's
as.
because we had quite a few at December graduating.
Gotcha.
Then we have MVA coming up, the virtual academy
Mhm.
this Saturday, and another one. The other graduation. So we have, multiple graduations, just opportunities.
Lots, huh?
Mhm.
It's an interesting class.
Mine was 454, 457.
Mine was, I think, 364. This is actually the smallest we've had there. Been around 420. This year I got to hand out my markers.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's a good feeling.
Yes and no.
Oh, yeah, now it's time to college, yeah. The heaviest of the payroll there.
Well, scholarships, so.
That's good. That's good.
Graduating class was 600.
Oh, you would speak higher.
Speak high.
Yeah.
And we were the smallest class at that time in school.
And what year was that?
18.
You can still see it engraved in the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the stone tablet. My graduation was a stone tablet. You know?
And I read they used to make smoke signals out of.
So does, yeah, guys and gals, that era are so strong.
Yeah.
The stone diplomas they had to carry.
How long do we need for the executive session, Nancy?
As much time as he can get.
Can we go ahead and call it now and we continue to sign paperwork?
You bet.
Is that allowed? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I will go ahead and move that the county commission, including Chairman McKinley, Commissioner Foki, and Commissioner Ford, recess into executive session on for the purpose of consultation with Clancy Holman, County Counselor, attorney for the commission, on potential litigation in a matter which is deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 10:30 a.m.
I would second that.
And moved and seconded, move into executive session. All in favor? You guys are live.
Okay. I'll go ahead and move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded, come out of executive session, all in favor?
Aye.
I will go ahead and also move that the record reflect actions shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded that action will be taken consistent with consensus of the consensus of the, all in favor?
Aye.
You want to do that again?
No.
No? Okay. Aye.
I thought I got it right, didn't I?
We'll go with it.
Kind
Thank you. If anybody has to take a class, it's you. I'm not worried about it.
of a long time since I took a class.
Me too. I'm gonna keep it that way.
All right, I guess I'm up now.
Yes.
Darrell Eby, Budget and Finance Officer. This probably won't be quite as good as what Tammy used to do, but I'll struggle through it for you. We are going over the 2022 Riley County CIP cash flow analysis. And for April, we had a revenue of a first-time interest payment of $7,595, bringing your total revenue of $8,815, transfers in of $2,369,805, and then reimbursements of $169,837, giving you total revenue of $2,548,457.
Darrell, you can scroll down. That way we got the visual up there too for everyone to look at, get it the appropriate size up there at the plus or minus. You can, in the middle there, shrink it down. There we go. Did you turn it? Did you turn it?
I was gonna ask you to turn the air conditioning on. No.
There you go. See, it's pretty much.
I've
Okay.
been riding home at 7 years. That's what the environmental people suggest.
There you go. All right. Okay, going on, your total expenditures then are $341,280. That $500 one is a tandem axle truck expense. So bringing on over to the right is the Riley County Budget Authority Summary. So far for 2022, your budgeted expenditures, $7,554,156. So far to date, you've only spent $341,280, which is 4.52%. That's a pretty small percentage. Long time of the year to go. Your budgeted revenue is $2,384,805. You've gotten more revenue than anticipated. You're at $2,548,457. That's 6.86% above anticipated. Oh, and at the very top right, it also tells you you're at 33.33% of the year, or third way in. Your cash reconciliation. The beginning unencumbered cash was $7,501,076.98. Is that right? 98 cents? Yep. And your revenue, $2,548,457. Expenses again, $341,280. For an ending unencumbered cash, $9,708,253, of which you have some remaining approved projects of $3,372,945, and less reserves of $2,128,731. Gives you unreserved cash of $4,206,577. Any questions? Concerns? I would say so far you're doing pretty good. The next page shows you some of the projects, the ones in blue up there, the ones that are completed. With a little extra cash over the estimated approved amount. That's always good. And then we have a nice little graph that shows where you're at. And again, we're just kind of in the beginning phases. There's a lot of projects to come. So don't get too excited.
Some that aren't on that list yet.
That is very, very true. Your building cash flow so far for the year, your revenue is $218,140. You've had some other income of $134. Total revenue, 218,284. Your building expenses, pretty much online, 69,342. Your budget expenditures for the year is 393,000. Expenditures to date, 69,342. It's only 17.64% of a 33% year, doing good. Budget revenue, 387,749. Your revenue to date is only 218,284, but you're still over anticipated. You're at 56.3 of a 33.33% year. So you're doing pretty good there. Your ending unencumbered cash is 259,210 for your building cash flow. Again, so far, so good. And nice little graph to show you in your picturesque walls. Any questions? Yay. Your economic development cash flow analysis, you have a revenue of 185,000, expenditures of 82,394. In the right-hand box, you have remaining budget authority of 226,654. And so far, you've only spent 26.66% of a 33.33% year. Your budgeted revenue, 185. Your revenue to date, you spent 100. You're at 100% right there. Cash reconciliation. Your ending unencumbered cash, 213,148. Your projected unencumbered cash ending is 49,790. And the next page is your economic development detailed expenditures per project. Only one of those in the blue. Looks like we have a lot yet to do.
I can tell you that there won't be another contribution from the NPO this year.
No.
So I know that's only $1,900, but still, yeah, we got some extra money through the federal government this year to help offset that. So with no director in place, we took care of all those finances ahead of time. So that payment won't be coming in July.
Okay.
And we don't have a $10,000 contribution for the FHRC.
Which is the regional council.
Yeah, the regional
Yeah.
council, so
That project's done for right now. And of course, your nice graph where you're at this point. Your county sales tax cash flow. This is an important one for April. Your sales tax revenue, 154,000. KDOT revenue, 3,157 for a total revenue, 157,156. Your expenditures is only 7,561. So on your right-hand side down at the bottom, your budgeted expenditures is 7,028,195. Your expenditures to date is only 18,213, or 0.26% of a 33.33% budget. And your budgeted revenue, you have 1,700,000. Your revenue to date is 717, or 42.18% under 33 so far. Your ending 22 projected unencumbered cash, 4,535,940. And then again, your breakout of all your projects, your next pages. Those in blue are, of course, completed. Any questions there? We'll ask Rich.
Well, this one's kind of tricky because that we're kind of finishing up one and we're going to be moving right into the next one.
Right.
So kind of important to watch what that transition is going to be.
The state establishes that cutoff line to where we continue to get revenues on this old one to when the next one
Yeah.
clicks in. We'll be in communication with the state on that.
Okay. And that's just because both of our budget cycles are different.
Couple of projects in the way. Bills will come in.
Yep.
Like University Park and
This bridge is.
the bridges.
building.
So any questions or concerns there, or anything you want me to change up going forward? Like what you got, then that's what we're gonna keep with.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right.
Next, Commissioner, you have Vivian at 10:50, a little bit of a break.
And got an email from Cindy about breakfast on Thursday. I'm not for sure what's on the menu necessarily, but I'm just gonna do what we typically do. If you want me to know that.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Okay.
she should have the
Yep.
list.
On mine, if I get a usual, just tell them to keep the potatoes. I can't. I'm not used to eating a bit. I eat breakfast, but not big breakfast, so.
And whatever I don't, I'll take it with me. And I'm trying to get up there. Yeah.
Potatoes are always my favorite part. That's, I want to lay off the carbs,
But you can't, there's potatoes. They keep calling you.
Well, they do say that those, depending on how they're cooked, of course, that those aren't the worst carbs that you can potentially have.
Well, see, there you go.
Yeah. And it's all about moderation still.
I think gross and dry.
Depends on your moderation.
Yeah. And for me, that's a revolving door sometimes.
How was the leadership?
Good. Solid. You've been doing before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a few years.
Yeah. I mean, unlike them, I've only gone to 2 now, but I thought it was solid. Lots of good discussion, lots of good information from, different entities, not just, one side of things. So,
Right.
and it was represented well.
That's good.
I think Kristen was there from the school board, so.
And so then I just started looking through
Yeah.
emails. And then,
Was
oh,
Dr.
I guess
Wade
I
there
could
or
say-
Eric?
I didn't see either one of them.
We're not.
But then again, consider, you probably would have if it had been in February, like it originally been, but with the graduation and everything going on, I think they probably had to prioritize.
A few other things.
Yeah, yeah. So, totally understandable.
Okay. Car wreck on
So then
24.
I sat down.
Heard about that?
That was one of our assistant
I
principals.
said, if I'd have been paying attention, I would have this is one of these.
Ooh.
And one of them was at Worlds of Fun. Every year we take Eisenhower and Anthony. The kids have done exceptionally well, and which is most of them.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them. So we take them up to Worlds of Fun. Give them a treat, kind of, you did a great year, great time, so we're gonna take you up there, take care of most of your expenses. So they went up there, but the daughter was there during that. So the dad had to drive up there. So yeah, Friday that was Friday. Or was that Thursday?
Thursday and Friday.
It's not.
Full day on Thursday and about 3/4 of the day on Friday.
So
I missed the last 2 sessions, so I had a separate meeting. But
that causes a ripple effect throughout the whole.
sure. Yeah, makes sense.
Really felt sorry for Erica because her son graduated Saturday and they had special plans Friday night, Saturday. That being her assistant principal, actually finishing up. I mean, especially assistant principals, right? They're a pretty nice group.
You said. It's better than what-
Let's see how long your last one go.
That's probably gonna go after
Longer than that.
You said longer than that?
Hopefully it doesn't.
Oh,
No, I assumed you would get to 11:30.
back on 3 for interviews.
Yeah.
That's fine, like, and if it wasn't. Sitting yesterday.
refill here.
Have what?
Could I have those letters this time?
Sorry. Yeah. Nope, I do have. Whew. Thought that was in the file I took over. There you go.
Sure, let me send you over one copy.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks,
Send it to
Clancy.
Cindy. Thank you. I didn't ask now, I wasn't gonna remember.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I still had it.
That'd be a record for a short executive session. You ought to try to break that record.
Not tempting.
Maybe in the same day.
I don't see accepting that challenge.
It's a subtle hint.
It's not so subtle.
It didn't slide fast.
Yeah.
Got your magic drink there.
Yeah,
What is that?
just vitamin water.
Yeah, that's a minus.
Looks really good.
Yeah. Mine happens to be real.
There's some kind of a vitamin. Didn't Diet Coke have something?
It has something in it, that's for sure.
It does have something.
It's got something in it.
Caffeine. That's the thing.
That might be your vitamin there, yeah.
Caffeine's a vitamin. Necessary. We're an RDA.
Something.
Well, caffeine.
Yep.
On Sunday, I got to sit on my porch and drink my coffee in the morning while the rain fell. We didn't get hit too bad with storms on the west side. So I kind of just got to sit out and watch it rain and drink my coffee, and
Yeah.
it seemed like a nice way to spend a Sunday morning to me.
Especially since we haven't had much rain.
Take all the rain.
You're right.
Hopefully we get some more tomorrow.
Yeah. We did everything yesterday morning at 6, hail, wind, everything. And the next one came in, it was just rain.
So that's a pea size, hail at our size.
We didn't
About
do
marble
anything.
sized.
I didn't.
Got marble sized over on the east side, so.
Maybe, but
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I'm glad you got a chance to talk about finances right before I got here, because I'm here to ask for money. We kind of missed part of the equation with the support and sponsorship for the Flint Hills Regional Leadership Program. And I was appointed to serve on the board as a representative of Riley County, but that actually comes along with a kind of a sponsorship. And the past several years, Rich was kind enough to look back through minutes and found that since 2011, we had declined to support the program. But I'm hoping this year that if the finances indicate that it's okay to do so, that we can go back to supporting, and then I would stay on as a member of the board representing Riley County. I did find out since between the time I wrote the proposal and now, you actually have the option of doing $500 or $1,000. It's typical for the counties involved, including Wabunsee and Geary and Potawatomi, to support at that $1,000 level. And I can talk about a little bit about the program itself, or give you a little background if you'd like. I'm a recent graduate, and the goal of the program is to support regional leaders and also to create a strong network of association between all of the 4 counties. Now, Wabunsee is a recent addition. And so you meet together. There are 8 classes that take place over, I believe it's 6 months. And you learn skills, you visit all these different locations in the county. So every participant becomes more familiar with
with the organizations and function outside of their region. And then it also creates this kind of alumni group that connects people who are leaders in all of the different counties. So I feel like that's one of the most valuable elements of the program, is just kind of the relationships that you're able to build and the awareness that I was able to gain for how the other counties function. And I feel like as we move forward with all the growth in the region and all of the people that they're saying are coming with the new businesses that are being constructed here, this sense of regionalism really, I think, will serve us as a community. But that's kind of my pitch for it. I got a lot out of it looking at alumni who've participated before. There were a lot of names that I recognized. People who stayed in the community are making a really positive impact. So I would encourage you to support the program, but wanted to see if you had any questions or how this lands on you, because it's been a while since Riley County participated. And if we support this year, I would of course come back and ask again next year, and then hopefully we could develop some curriculum so that Riley County would be represented in the class sessions. Right now, the Manhattan session, the city of Manhattan is a supporter, and they spend a day here. They also spend a day at K-State touring facilities. And like this year, we toured BRI and we toured the business school and the engineering department. And then Housing and Dining did a presentation about kind of how the student relationships have evolved. And rather than kind of you have to put up with what you get as a student, that they're really trying to tailor the experience and create workspaces, especially with the new business school, create spaces for the students to work and encounter their professors and be in an environment that was more corporate, so that they would have experience that would translate directly into the workforce. So there were quite a few elements with how to speak to the new generation that I thought were really valuable, but now I'm rambling, so I will let you ask some questions.
When was it established? Do you know the date?
That, it was back in the 90s, I think 94.
It was, Commissioner, I was in one of the early classes in 97 or 98. So just to give the commissioners more history that are new. There for many, many years, Riley County had an employee, department head or upper level management that was in the program annually, didn't pay the sponsorship fee. What's it cost to participate?
$600 for it.
Okay, I think it used to be 300, and so Riley County's annually participated, and so it's something we've done for decades by now, but never did the sponsorship fee. And Vivian had asked me, I thought, well, since the commission has denied it in the past, we need to bring it back to you to see if you wanted to pay the additional sponsorship fee, which is on top of, if we have a member participate. And so in the past, it had been brought to the commission, as Vivian said, and had been denied. So we didn't want to just assume it was okay to do it, even though you appointed Vivian. Just want the commissioners to be the one to say that's okay, because don't want someone to say, well, you guys are sponsors, you paid $1,000 and you not be aware of it. But it is a valuable program. I found it very valuable when I went through it. I went through it with way back previous administrators, Dan Collintone, Chamber of Commerce Director, Gary Greer, previous City of Manhattan manager. So yeah, it was a long time ago.
So you went through the program, you're a graduate.
Yes.
So will we have another person that will be a part of the
We always seek those out.
program?
That was the one I was looking at, was the new Fraser Museum Director.
Those are typically the types of
We need to get
individuals.
those two to go through. I'm sure there might be others, but those two.
Budget finance officers in the past, someone like in Elizabeth's position, Cindy Valenti and Elizabeth, those level of positions. We generally always send out an email to department heads. Are any of you interested, or have someone in your staff that's interested?
Do they do it once a year?
Yeah, that's one program. So my thought here is, okay, this is sponsorship, correct? So instead of having to necessarily just come back every year and ask, why can't that be part of the outside agency in terms of what we do budget wise?
It can be,
Okay.
absolutely.
And that would be my thought. I mean, obviously that doesn't work for this year. We'd still have to request and go through.
And it
that
would be in the
process this
budget,
year.
you would see it.
Right.
And I would suggest it be in the economic development portion. I think it
That's what
probably
I
fits there the best.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Sounds right.
So yeah, if we're going that route,
Yeah.
Of course, that won't work for this year. We'll have to find, or can we use?
Well, we
it?
have some monies in economic development available, so we
Okay.
could do that.
Okay,
rather
that
than
was
pay
gonna
for
be my
someplace
follow-up
else.
question.
So is this for this is for 21, 22. It's not for 23.
Right, so 23, if you were gonna make it part of the budget cycle, they'd have to come in and formally make a request and give us an update on stuff throughout the year as everybody else does, which I think
And it
would
may
be appropriate because then they could explain that year of what's going on and, or they can delegate it to you or whomever, but would be perfectly reasonable. So then everybody gets to see what that $1,000 is going towards per year.
When you had mentioned they've had classes or whatever you call them at the city and has the county done stuff?
We've not had the opportunity as non-sponsors before.
Oh,
This would give us the opportunity to participate in that way.
So it wouldn't actually happen in 22, but you'll be paying for 20.
No, we could pay for, if that's what we're asking for, to fund it for this year, 2022. And then there will also be a request if you guys decide to make it an appropriation economic development. So it'd be one of those lists under economic development for $1,000 as well.
So we
If you decide to go that way.
I just think that-
half a year or what?
Well, they have just started the applications for this next year, so it's not,
We pay the full $1,000 this year and the request would be for another 1,000 the next year.
because they're just getting ready to form classes for this year, is that correct?
Oh,
That's
okay.
correct. The applications, you can now submit an application. I think they're due in July. The selection is made in August. And then the class, this season's class starts in the fall and then ends kind of in February of 23. So that's the cycle.
That's the cycle, okay.
And so we would not have an opportunity necessarily to be on the curriculum for that class since it's already been established, but we would look at the 23-24 curriculum and see if we'd like them to tour one of our facilities or how we can participate.
But we could actually put one of our new people on. for this-
Yes,
this-
yes, they can still apply.
For this cycle.
It just started.
Yeah, okay. From the cycle.
Yeah.
no, they probably don't work on typical public budgeting cycles, which I guess it is what it is, so. If we're going that route, I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
We'll probably get, it's hard to find intrinsic value sometimes, but something tells me that it'll more than make up for that.
Yeah. Okay.
So do we want, I don't know how to form a motion in that manner of,
Well, I think the current motion is appropriate, but then I could add a sentence, the board agreed to put this request with the annual appropriations request in the economic development fund.
okay, we can do that then. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to recommend funding the program scholarship to encourage leadership growth and collaboration within the Flint Hills region and what Rich said after that.
Okay, I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to recommend funding the program sponsorship. All those in favor? Aye.
You relay that message to Daryl, please, about the allocation, economic development fund, please. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. And that'll be somewhat of a budget neutral thing this year because we're not paying the MPO out of that. So, yeah, so we're good. Okay. Okay, this is all we've got. Okay, half hour? Yep. Okay. I move the county commission, including Chairman McKinley, Commissioner Foki, and Commissioner Ford, recess into executive session on for the purpose of consultation with Clancy Holman, county counselor, attorney for the commission, on potential litigation, a matter which is deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, the open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 11:30 a.m.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're not supposed to
You guys are live.
I will move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm supposing it's the last one since we took clear.
There no consensus.
Oh, okay. Okay, well then I'll move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded. No binding action was taken during the session. All in favor?
Aye.
We need to hang on to this again.
I'll actually take that.
You wouldn't read it.
You're not allowed to.
I'd like to keep it and read it a little.
Can do.
Okay.
Because I'm figure out what the
I got you.
heck is going on.
That's all I had.
Anything else?
So Rich brings in lunch, but he's not gonna share, obviously.
Yeah, I went over my calendar
Yeah,
on Friday, what I've got after this, when you were wanting to meet afterwards, I said, well, I don't have any time today.
No, I was messing with you.
I know you guys have got to get out of here.
Yeah.
The one thing that, and I'm not going to ask for any decision, but one of the things I got from our, where it was a retreat last week, Flint Hills seems to have someone in place that could do something now.
Flint Hills.
Flint Hills Regional Council,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Yeah.
I know we've dropped out of them, but you know, I might be interested in revisiting that now that they have someone who seems to be, you know, and I don't know if we want to maybe watch and see. I'm not saying jump in right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I was very impressed with his presentation, and I talked to him afterwards for a while too.
Yeah, I had some thoughts on that post retreat too. I'd like to give it some time.
Yeah.
I think if they want to come in, much like everybody else, and give a presentation for next year, you know, that's certainly possible. When we decided to vacate in January, whenever it was never my thought to just say, no, that's it, it's done, it's over. It was to continue to kind of evaluate it, but you know, it's not what they're doing necessarily that's been the concern. It's the financial stability and vitality
He said
of the organization itself that's a
and I
real
talked to him
concern.
about that. I
Yeah.
would say in one of our breaks, I talked to him like,
Yeah.
but I'm not saying 100% go, but I'm just saying maybe we need, you know,
Yeah.
we ought, like you had said, maybe see if they want to present something for next year
Yep.
that,
Yeah.
and then, and I know talk is cheap, but you know, he did seem to have more in mind of what to do than.
Unlike our conversations at the end of the year and the beginning of the year, I would think at this point in time, somebody could answer some of those
Yeah.
financial questions that I just didn't feel comfortable with at the time. So,
Well, and, you know, in addition to that, the one thing that I took away from the conference, which is not necessarily negative, but I think that we don't really have a voice as the county part, you know, our county, or the other counties. There's many city and incorporated areas, and I'm hoping that we can take that our new advisory board is going to come up with some big plans for us, which we could use that money. And that was the one thing I thought was really lacking, county participation in our county.
and it was kind of part of that conversation when we had that dialogue was, well, you know, they're showing what they're doing for the city of Manhattan, but the city of Manhattan's got their own expenditures for that, you know,
Right.
those sort of things. So it really needs to be, you know, us working with them on the Raleigh County side. In terms of grants and stuff, we've got people that can write most of those. So if we
Sure.
needed to work with them specifically, I always thought we could do that, or we could do our own thing on that, but go ahead, I guess.
I've always thought we fall short is I think we need a jack over here.
Yeah, he was.
Because that's what
that-
Potawatomi County has,
he's a-
separate from everyone else. It is a joint venture with the county participating in that does focus on that
The whole
and
county
would continue to
is
focus
just-
on cities to work with the city and the chamber, but also, I mean, I'm impressed with that setup over there. And to me, that's what we need over here is an organization that has a jack in it.
Yeah, because, you
Yeah, he
know,
was-
the
yeah,
developing
That,
of
that's where I think we fall
industrial, yeah.
short, because they
I do.
always have him involved, and that is that other piece that I don't feel that we have.
So ready, they're building things.
Well, I mean, they've been working at it for the better part of a decade, and on this one, we kind of haven't, so that's your difference.
Yeah.
There are some unique things here that are different than Pottawatomie County, but I think you can certainly work through those over the course of time, but it's gonna take time to probably get to that point, but at least we've got some apparatuses in place to start movement.
Yeah, we
I
have to
think
start
that's-
somewhere.
I think that's the important part, so.
Because like I said, one of the issues I brought up is the bridge that KDOT's aware of and already designed their infrastructure to go and help economic development in Riley County. And we mention it time and time again, and it's not a priority for the city of Manhattan or the Manhattan Area Chamber of Commerce, where we have someone to work on it on our best interest. Sethchild was designed to go over the river there. When they designed K-18, they designed that overpass for a bridge to go
Scenic.
or scenic,
Oh, okay.
scenic,
So
sorry,
that's the one- what
scenic to
Keith
go
was
straight,
talking about.
to go straight over. That was,
No, there's
that was
challenges.
designed when K-18 was built, and KDOT was on board with that, because KDOT made the specification so that would happen.
And we need to up the, revenues that we can get for the county. I do.
And you talk about opening up industrial park land,
Yeah.
and residential land, and a key component for companies to another direct access to interstate. It fits all, it checks everything
2 miles
off.
isn't right, though, is it?
Huh?
Keith's 2 miles isn't.
I didn't hear what Keith said
When he
about
said
that,
it's,
so.
didn't he say it's only 2 miles from there to I-70, which.
Yeah, I
I
would,
don't
I
think
think
so.
that's
I would- he said-
incorrect,
he said
but it is,
3, but
but it ties
But it's
straight in
still-
with the existing roadway,
ties down in Bell Creek at some point, I guess.
straight in interstate.
Well, it kind of
I've
split
been
Deep
looking.
Creek and McDowell Creek there, because it's about a 12.
There's an upper and a lower.
Yeah,
I was on the
there's
upper
about a
one.
12-mile
Lower
difference
out of
in
the
there, and
wetlands The
it's-
other day.
It'll fit somewhere in the middle of that section, but yeah. Those are the things we got to be looking at.
We really do, so. That's all gonna take time. It's gonna take like a jet.
It
Well,
took
right.
5 to 6
Approved
years
like
just to
that.
get the original Sykes building in over there and, get that worked and developed. So it's gonna take some time, but
Riley County was the instigator on getting K-18
Yeah.
redeveloped. When the state said, no, we put down $100,000 and did our own study to say, here's how
To get that
K-18
out
ought to
there.
go. And then the state got on board, and then it happened when federal monies came available.
anyway. We can continue that conversation. We've got other places. to
Yeah, I know
be.
you guys gotta take off.
Oh,
So
that's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion then that we adjourn the May 16th, 2022 meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.